How should I intro the podcast this week?
We should ask the rabbit a question.
That's what he's doing.
Oh.
To ensure a successful podcast this week, you can consider preparing engaging content, inviting interesting guests, ensuring good audio quality, promoting the podcast on social media, and engaging with your audience for feedback and interaction. Would you like more specific tips on podcast preparation?
Yo, what is up, people of the internet? Welcome back to another episode of the Waveform podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Marques.
I'm Andrew.
Oh, sorry. I'm David.
And you have a guest with you, David?
Yeah. What is your name?
My name is Assistant.
That's a weird name.
Hey.
How may I assist you today?
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's the rabbit.
Yeah.
I have the rabbit as well. It's the rabbit R1. We got a bunch of stuff we're going to talk about today, including our very, very, very early impressions of the rabbit. Just picked it up within 12 hours of recording this.
Yeah.
Also, things like the Cybertruck recall, the new YouTube layout, and new iPhone emulators, and I think there's some other stuff we want to talk about too. So it's a good variety pack today.
Yeah.
It's a
Also,
good time.
because last week was a different kind of episode, we kind of have a little bit of a backlog. So
True, yeah. See, that happens. That always happens. Is we have a bonus episode or a fun episode that's not the normal thing. It's an interview, and then that week a bunch of stuff happens on the news, and then we have another week to accumulate things on top of it to also talk about. So here we are.
To be fair, I feel like last week, Wednesday, David and I were like, oh, I'm glad we're releasing this episode. There's not a lot going on. And then Thursday and Friday, we're just like, just kidding.
that always happens.
So we would have missed it anyways. Yeah. But
also, this week was incredibly busy news-wise.
Yeah,
So.
we got a new Apple event announcement this week. It's not really coded at all. It's definitely an iPad event. It's got the little Apple Pencil in there. So either we'll get a new Apple Pencil, or they're just specifically talking about iPads that support Apple Pencil, or whatever. It's just iPads. We're gonna get a new iPad. The event is May 7th, and the rumors say possibly OLED iPad Pro, and maybe also a new Apple Pencil.
With different sizes, too.
Of the Pro?
Yeah, the new Pro is apparently going to come in a 13-inch size, and the Airs are going to come in a 12.9-inch size. That's the rumor.
Because the Pro is right, it's 12.9 already.
It's 12.9, but 13.
Oh,
is
so
what it's
probably
being
thinner
moved to.
bezels and the same body size type stuff.
Probably, yeah. Something like that.
Beat. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I think the iPad has a great screen already, but also we've been waiting to see what an OLED iPad would look like forever because I love OLED screens.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see
Yeah.
that.
There was a rumor that possibly the Magic keyboard also might get updated. The
the floating one.
It's just going to get USB-C probably.
yeah.
Oh.
Does it not, wait, is it Lightning?
Or I guess there's no charge port.
I thought it was USB-C right now.
Oh, yeah, I guess it wouldn't have.
You're talking about the one that connects the iPad with the pins?
Yes, and makes it float.
I guess there's no port on that.
I thought there
But if there is, I think it's probably currently Lightning.
I think it's USB-C.
Let me look it up. Apple Magic, because the other Magic keyboard, like the literal desktop Magic keyboard, has been Lightning forever.
Yeah, that's
and
still Lightning.
That is
Those
overdue.
need updated so bad.
Yeah,
that
that's
the
overdue.
European Union is not forcing it, so it's probably not going to happen.
But like
anytime
Apple,
soon. Yeah, come on, guys.
pride. Yeah, it's USB-C.
I thought so. Yeah.
Okay, so that's good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's in like the hinge on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
remember that.
Yeah.
And it gets dirty very easily.
So new iPad Pro, new iPad Pro accessories, maybe a new pencil, new iPad stuff, all getting refreshed. Remember how last year there was no new iPad stuff at all?
Yeah.
So this feels like maybe we could get like a collection of iPad stuff.
That'd be nice.
Neat.
Yeah, it's been the longest period of time between new iPad stuff since the launch of the iPad. So
Really? Since the launch of the first?
Yeah.
there was a new iPad at least every year, except there was no new iPad stuff in 2023 at all.
I saw one pretty big rumor. I don't know if they're going to have like time or bandwidth to actually do it, but I saw that they may actually make a calculator app for the iPad this year.
way.
Yeah, I know. That's a kind of a stretch. Like
That's asking
nobody
a lot.
expects Apple to go that hard, but it's rumored.
They did fire the car team, so maybe that's what they're working on now.
Oh, interesting. They have enough resources to do it.
Yeah, they do.
Fascinating.
A little tougher, but
Maybe the computer vision stuff is going to make that a reality.
I was hoping I would just use this for all the math stuff and not
Yeah.
like have to do it on the iPad.
that's what Apple
But if they
wants.
can pull off, remember, so I talked to Craig Federighi back in 2020, I think,
Yeah.
or 2021 maybe, and I asked, so why is there no weather app and calculator app on the iPad? And you could see him sit back for a second and think of what to say in his head. And his answer was, we could just scale up the weather and calculator app from the iPhone and it would be fine, but we want to really do something where people go, wow, that's an amazing
Bro, it's a calculator.
Calculator, man.
of the app on the iPad. Man. And so we haven't really gotten around to doing that yet. Those are Craig's words.
Okay.
I don't know if he made that up on the spot or if they genuinely feel that way, but it was a good answer. But pressure's on, Craig. This better be an incredible calculator.
Yeah, what would blow your mind to live up to the hype of not having a calculator app for how many years, and then saying we need to do it well?
I mean, to be fair, the amount of computing power it took to power the moon landing was as much as a calculator took. So that's a
big time app.
That's a nap.
Yeah,
for sure.
A lot of calculations.
This is wild.
It's huge. This could be game changing for the iPad.
Yeah.
I think I'll buy one now.
See?
Yeah.
See?
Changed my mind.
I don't have a calculator in my life that I'm excited about right now, so this could be the one.
Teenage Engineering could make one, and Adam would buy it.
Not gonna lie, I probably would buy. That would be my first Teenage Engineering.
It'd be a nice successor. Yeah, but it would be
next to my coffee station.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a meme at this point.
If it could graph, dude, oh man, that'd be pretty
If it was a graphing calculator and it had the Teenage Engineering animations for graphing.
So when you said what would be a calculator that would actually blow my mind, I thought about it for a second, and the only thing that came to my mind was it's just Wolfram Alpha. It's just that.
Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts about Wolfram Alpha.
It saved my college career.
Yeah.
I love Wolfram Alpha.
But isn't that basically what large language models are now?
Because the Humanians using Wolfram Alpha as one of their...
Yeah, so is this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it really? Yeah.
But Wolfram Alpha has been significantly updated since large language models came out and stuff. But if you remember, you could ask Wolfram Alpha math questions in plain English and
years ago.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I would ask it for,
I'm going to report you to Stevens.
No.
Don't take it.
Moving on.
Yeah. I think it used long short-term memory and not transformers, but that's probably the only difference.
Weird.
Anyway.
Well, speaking of metal things, because the iPad's made of metal.
Speaking of angles that are in calculators.
Math. Angles.
That's a good one.
45 degrees.
I was going to say, you know what the opposite of a release is?
A recall?
A recall.
That's a pretty... Speaking of... Well,
wait, really? Is that what it is?
I mean, a release is where you give.
Oh.
A recall is where you take.
And speaking of recalls...
Apple did... Oh.
No.
Tesla did a total recall.
Tesla did a total recall. Oh,
I love that movie, but the original one.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that one.
Me neither. It's okay. Anyway, continue.
But I've been driving the Cybertruck around, and that's become very quickly the number one question people ask about it is, how about that recall, huh?
That's crazy.
It's very quickly become everyone's headline. So the details are actually kind of weird and interesting, but we learned a bunch of stuff. First of all, the actual Cybertruck recall is on the accelerator pedal. And the story is the adhesive that holds the pedal itself to the pad that it's on.
It's it's weird calling it the pedal, which I guess it kind of is, but there's the actual physical thing that hinges up and down, and then almost
and then the thing on top of
that looks nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and has
pad,
grip to it. Yeah.
Exactly. That touches your shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Those two things are glued together, adhesive together, whatever. I don't even know how common that is, but apparently there was an unapproved change in the adhesive process or whatever that involved soap. And so if some people smashed the pedal hard enough with their foot, it actually unglued it and tore off. And because of this perfect angle up, and we did a short about this perfect angle up in front of the pedal, it could get torn off and then lodged right underneath this little wedge, which would hold the accelerator pedal down as it's lodged there.
Full throttle.
And that would hold full throttle on your truck, which would not be great. Not obviously. Luckily, holding down the brake overrides that.
Yeah, thank
so
God.
If you are someone who finds yourself in a situation unintentionally accelerating in any vehicle, hit the brakes, please. That should be your first response.
Yeah.
But the fact that that's even possible is a gigantic safety issue. So Tesla has recalled all Cybertrucks. And what that means, because people use the word recall a lot, and it kind of means different things in different places.
Yeah.
What that means is they've decided to issue a fix, and everyone whose vehicles have been delivered can be issued that fix, whether they need to bring it back to a service center or a software update, whatever it is. With this one, Tesla has to figure out how to fix everyone's pedals. So we learned how many trucks they've made, about 3,900 trucks. All of them will have to go back at some point to some service center. And I've had recalls before with Teslas where they reach out and they literally like schedule you in for a service center appointment. You drive in, whatever it is, 5 minutes, they'll apply their fix. With this one, it feels like they're going to bolt the pedal down.
Oh, have you seen the videos yet?
I've seen some videos of it. Yeah, and I don't know if that's temporary or if that's the fix that they're going to do.
The fix.
It's like one of those things that feels like a quicker temporary thing, and
but then you got a hole in your pedal.
Yeah, and like a rivet in it. I'm happy that it's a physical thing holding it down and not just them re-gluing it, because that would feel,
I feel like,
way less safe. But
I would prefer the re-glue as long as it didn't have soap in it.
I don't know. Something physically holding that together in the sense of launching your car at full speed.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of interesting too, because they only bolt it in the rivet is only in the bottom of the pedal, and they don't do it on both. So in my head I was like, what happens if it like comes loose and starts swinging around?
I'm assuming it's like in a track, and then all it can do is go forward, and then so one rivet should hold that fully together. Yeah, it looks like they have this little device that slides down on the pedal, lines it up perfectly at the bottom, drill through, install a rivet. I saw some people being upset that it just like doesn't look nice on a very expensive car.
I can't remember the last time I looked at it.
I'm happy that it's physically in there instead of glue anymore.
Yeah.
In terms of like the recall stuff, I do think in EVs, like there have been so many EV headlines of like a recall happening, and it probably gets blown out of proportion. This one probably seems like one that is pretty damn unsafe in terms of full throttle.
This is similar to the Prius recall that happened where the mat. Do you remember?
I think it was it was Toyota.
It was the Prius, because my mom had a Prius and she had to bring hers into service center. But the stock mat that came with it was like getting stuck under the accelerator pedal, because it would get stuck on your shoes and it would slide forward and it would get stuck under. And so they basically like would take the mat out and like replace it with one that didn't have like as big of a ring on it.
So the headline will say Toyota recalled 1 million Priuses,
right?
And you're like, oh no,
but it's the floor mat. It's not.
You have to actually read a little bit to figure out what's happening.
It's not like they're replacing the battery or there's an engine failure or something.
Right. So, yeah, it's. I think the headlines are pretty juicy, but, you know, recalls are kind of all over the map, and this one's probably at the top. I think 2 people had this happen to them out of all 4,000 Cybertrucks. So they're like, all right, happens once, you're like, okay, that's a freak accident. Happens twice. It reminded me of like when the Note 7s started having like battery issues.
Yeah.
You're like, how many
until Samsung
can
freaks
explode
out
before we think this is a problem?
Someone's house burns down.
And it's like when
It's only one.
When one phone explodes, it seems crazy, but like I could see any phone having one, maybe having a puncture or something crazy happens. When 2 happen, you're like, oh, interesting.
And then 3.
And then 3, I think, is the number.
Yeah.
It's like how many ostriches would you have to see before you were like, wait a second, something's happening?
2 is a
One
coincidence.
weird-
3 is a problem.
So 2 happened. It was enough for Tesla to decide to look into it and to issue the recall, and they'll have their fix hopefully pretty soon. And that's the recall details.
Yeah, it's funny because Tesla's actually had a lot of recalls, but they're usually just software updates. And like, for example, they had to update software because the little icons that said like when a stop sign was coming up or something like that weren't big enough to like meet industry standards, and I think that was considered a recall. So it's just kind of a weird thing, because they're not actually recalling the cars like they used to. They can just do a lot of these.
I mean, this has been like
this one is their.
I think this has been the case in all cars for many years. Every car you've probably ever driven has had some sort of recall at some point.
You got a thing in the mail.
Yeah.
Is there a level of recall where they actually take the car back?
Was the
Probably.
what about the Bolt a few years ago that was like catching on fire? I don't know.
They should have taken.
Oh no, sorry.
Finish your thought.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure on this, but my friend had a diesel VW something, and when the whole like Dieselgate stuff came out, he got money towards a new car for something. I don't know what that was, but all the diesel was pretty bad.
I feel like the Mustang Mach-E they should have recalled when the roofs were falling off.
Tesla roofs have fallen off also.
Yeah.
On the highway.
I always ask how many times that happened.
I think it was like 3.
Oh,
yeah.
There's been a few. Wasn't there also a Model Y where if you hit a puddle fast enough, it ripped the whole bumper off? Or a Model 3?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure every car has a speed
been some-
where you hit a puddle fast enough.
I think it was like enough to happen where it's like this shouldn't really be a thing.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to throw it back to the Cybertruck review where I literally have a section in the review where I say, hey, there will be more low-VIN Cybertruck production issues. I literally told you guys this would happen.
Yeah.
So don't say I didn't warn you. There will be more low-VIN Cybertruck production issues, but hey, that's part of the low-VIN thing.
Yeah.
With a Cybertruck. What else? Speaking of Tesla, that's an easy one.
Yeah, this is literally all part of the same
we did
thing,
that
pretty much. Yeah.
Speaking of Tesla, well, first of all, full self-driving is now $8,000, so it's gone down in price again.
Yeah.
When they were always sort of talking a big game about how valuable it is to the car and will only go up in price.
Has it gone down yet? This is the
Yeah,
first time it's gone
8,000.
down, no?
No, it's the second time. It was at 15,000 once, and then it's been at 12,000 for a while, and now it went down to 8,000. Yeah, it's fluctuating. It's a market.
Yeah.
Based on the stock price.
He's mentioned multiple times that it's not going down.
If the stock price is falling, full self-driving would be cheaper. If the stock price is going up, the price will go up.
That's just the most obvious, like, juicing your numbers I've ever seen.
Well, they're trying so hard to get people to buy this because we talked about the thing a couple weeks ago where every time you take delivery, they have to do a test drive of full self-driving to try to get you to buy it. They reduced the subscription price from $199 to $99. And now the actual just buying it all out is $8,000 instead of $12,000. And if you paid the $6,000 like bonus self-drive, what is it even called? There's so many names for these.
Autopilot.
Enhanced autopilot. If you bought that for $6,000, you can upgrade to full self-driving for $2,000.
Right.
So
I just came up with a theory in my head just now. I think it might be right.
Okay.
Is like Tesla is basically the only EV company that like makes a margin on their cars. And I think the entire margin is getting people to buy autopilot.
But I doubt that many people buy it.
Well, when they do, it's just free money. They don't have to deliver anything new.
Yeah.
They just unlock whatever software is done.
Which is how they like their used inventory thing. That's how that always worked. Was they would let people lease the vehicles, then they would not allow you. You can't buy a Tesla off of a lease. So they would take it back, install full self-driving on it, say $15,000 value, and then sell it to people for basically the price of a new car.
Yeah.
Because it had the full self-driving pre-installed.
So it's just up to Tesla to convince people of its value.
Yep.
And they're trying real hard.
Yep.
To convince people of its value.
Yeah.
So if you paid $15,000 a few years ago, now it's half the price of what it was after not only being told, because wasn't it every time it was like, buy this now because it's only going to go up in the future, which is like super FOMO. That's how you should buy this. And there was even a point where Elon said something like he estimates the value of full self-driving to be around $100,000.
Which is like what you will say when you want to convince someone of its value. Yeah. Jesus. And obviously people who hear that are like, well, then I should get that now so that eventually in 3 or 4 years when it's ready, my car will have it and I didn't have to pay way more than these people would.
And I have a theory about this too, because theoretically the robotaxi unveiling is happening on August 8th. At the earnings call that happened on the 23rd, they showed off a mock-up of what the ride-hailing app for the fleet will be.
Yeah. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah. It's probably just a mock-up.
It's just a mock-up.
And I have a feeling that the whole reason they're doing this, like, robotaxi unveiling is another way to try to get people to buy full self-driving right now. Because theoretically, if you have a Tesla and they're like, oh, they're going to turn on the robotaxi thing, I got to buy it now while it's cheap so that when it turns on, I can make money on my car.
Yeah, I can already see the way this
But
goes.
but they're going to unveil it, and then it's not going to come out for 4 years.
It'll be super, super slow beta testing to the most frenzied fans. The way they did
I don't know if they're even going to do that.
The way autopilot, like when you see autopilot videos on YouTube now of like people who only have a YouTube channel where they just do autopilot videos, it's those people who will probably get early access to it, and it'll start to technically be a thing that really is released, but that honestly most people
like
won't
a
use.
fully autonomous Tesla that picks you up and brings you around.
It'll be
on
region
highways.
locked. It will be extremely difficult to access.
What is the robotaxi unveiling? I thought just the cars were the robotaxi.
So the theory is you buy a Tesla, and because the Tesla has enough hardware and software smarts to be fully self-driving, that someday Tesla will hit this big green button to unlock your car to go drive around and be an Uber for you without you being in the car.
Yeah.
Yes, But then what robo-taxi are they unveiling?
That's my question.
Because it's already out, is it not? So that makes it
I thought they've already unveiled the robotaxi. It's my car, as it is now.
That's what I thought too, and it's possible that's the case. It's very unclear, but this news just came out this morning too that apparently they're going to be releasing the cheap car in 2025, which was apparently first it was apparently canceled, and now it's apparently back on the table. And I just don't really believe any of this stuff because I kind of just feel like Elon's like, please don't let our stock tank, and he's just saying anything he can to like get
Juice
it back
the
up,
value.
which worked. The stock went up this morning.
Oh yeah,
after the earnings call.
it works. It really does work. I don't know what robotaxi unveiling means.
I don't think it means any. Or I don't. If it gets unveiled, that means everything he said in 2019 of these will be robotaxis next year.
Right.
It's just
It either means
totally
you
out
need a
the
new
window.
car to do this, or they lied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, they gave everybody 30 days of full self-driving for free without asking, and they turned it on. And I used it a couple times, and I really don't like it. It feels a few times I've been like, if I do not disengage it right now, I'm going to die. And I just like, I would not get like even Waymo, which is really good. I've taken it a couple times in San Francisco. Still doesn't go on the freeway. Like, will not get on the freeway.
Waymo doesn't go on the freeway.
They're soon going to be able to get on the freeway just to go to SFO. But right now, it just goes around San Francisco.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I would never right now get in a fully autonomous, full self-driving Tesla to like drive around because
Based on what we've seen.
based on my car,
Yeah.
I would not do that.
Yeah, we did do that video, and there's a ton of software updates that people always like to point out are improving things over time. So I watched the videos about it, but we did that video like a year and a half ago, or whatever it was, on letting my car drive me here and the couple of interventions I had to make. I don't think I don't want to be in the back seat.
Zero chance.
Not,
put it that
like
way.
maybe in a few years, but right now I just do not feel like it's ready.
Yeah.
So
There's this whole theory now about how it's reading people's hand gestures, because somebody did it was like going through a residential street and they like jogged out from behind a car, because people will just test this stuff. They're like, jog out from behind the car now, and they jog out from behind the car in front of the self-driving Tesla, and the car stops, and he just like freezes, and the car doesn't move, and then he waves it through, and then the car goes through.
what?
And so now the theory is like, oh, it's looking at people and their hand gestures too.
Interesting.
I saw another video of a Waymo car with a cop trying to tell it to go somewhere else, and it was just like,
Yeah.
and the people inside are like, I don't get to do anything.
I'm in the back seat. Yeah.
I also saw a video or a picture of a guy with a stop sign T-shirt,
Yeah, that was really funny.
Stop sign T-shirt. Yeah,
and
it's gonna
I
read it.
think the car picked it up. I don't know. Maybe I got with that, but
No, it was he was able to stop like most of the Waymos with the stop sign
That's so
T-shirt. There was only one really late at night when it was super dark where it didn't stop.
it's called "This Goofy Shirt Paralyzes Robotaxis."
It's pretty funny. And he's also an ex-Tesla engineer too, which I think makes it kind of funny.
Wait, I don't know if this is too niche, but because everyone's TikTok page is unique. But I saw someone on my TikTok the other day, which was a guy at a Costco who had like 5 rotisserie chickens in his cart, and he goes, "Do not scan the chickens, just scan my shirt." And he had a barcode for a rotisserie chicken on his shirt. He's like, "No LEDs on the chickens, just my shirt." And they scanned it, and it worked. And
That guy also is really sad they're moving rotisserie chickens to bags. So he said he was stocking up on the old ones.
No, that's fine, dude. As someone who buys a lot of rotisserie chickens, the bag is a superior liquid
I think the bag is
holder.
superior. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not
sad.
arguing with me. You're
I know,
arguing with this guy. Yeah.
I'm arguing with who?
The guy who's
he just didn't want you to scan. With
no, the guy's mad that he was stocking up on chicken so he could have the rotisserie chicken containers. It's on a video. Yeah.
I can't tell if this is a bit. To be,
It kind of feels like
feels
a
like a
bit,
bit. But yeah, it's a guy with a barcode
because
on
it's
his
moving
t-shirt.
to bags and he wants the containers.
So he's going to put the bag in the
And I think he's gonna dump it out of the bag into the container. I don't know.
If you're buying rotisserie chickens, man, the bag is the way to go.
I agree.
When it's in your bag with the
I've
rest of
never
your
seen the bag.
groceries.
Well, you don't get bags at Costco.
Oh, true. I don't have a Costco card.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
a cool kids club. I've always had the container. Oh, the bag. Oh, the bag. I see what you're saying. I think the container's fine. Whatever. How did I get this far?
I'm gonna wait.
That is your fault.
hold on.
You started
I did
this.
start that,
We're gonna
yeah.
settle this.
Oh God.
Is a rotisserie chicken bag or container the superior way to buy one?
I'll be shocked if it answers.
I'm here to assist you with relevant information and tasks.
Roasted your question.
Question
Rotisserie the question.
Please feel free to ask.
It just told you straight up that's not a useful
Yeah,
question.
that's not a useful question.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
Cool.
speaking
Well,
of-
there's a little preview to the rabbit.
Wait, one more thing before a break. YouTube has this
Oh,
new
yeah.
layout that's floating around. I have not gotten this layout. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah, I
I've
have
seen
it,
pictures of
dude.
it.
I have it.
You have it?
Yeah, it's awful.
Wait, let me on your desktop?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a new YouTube app, Layout.
Wait, it's not on this. Oh, it's on my other computer.
So you have
Why
it
is it
in
on
your
one computer, but not on
desktop browser,
Yes.
not an app, just a desktop browser.
Correct.
It's like this.
Yeah.
So it's this really, really big player, related videos underneath, and then everything else to the right.
Yeah.
Which I get that they change things sometimes, but I just feel like the title always should be like next to the video, right underneath the video. It feels like it has to be bigger. The title is way too small.
It just feels like they're trying to cramp as much information for your eyeballs to be addicted to as possible. So they put
Content.
3 huge videos right below it so that you just keep staying on the platform. And they kind of hide the comments. Like it's underneath the description and it's hard to find.
Can you scroll through the comments while the video stays on top?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can see beneficial about this, even in their sense of like wanting you to click more videos. Like I
see
think
what
the
you're saying.
the side videos has way more options of different things to click, where if like you don't hit with the 3 recommended in this, you lose.
Do you guys think this is crazy? In Japan, the most popular video streaming service is called Nico Nico Talk. And while you're watching a YouTube video, the comments just go over the video.
Nice. Like a live stream.
Like but like they just all like go over the front of the video. And if there's so many people commenting, sometimes you literally cannot see the video because it's just comments streaming by.
That is odd.
It's wild.
I gotta say, that's really odd.
So I think this is kind of what they're going for because they put the comments right on the right, so you can like watch the video while you're looking at the.
I can understand having the video up and still reading the comments on the right, but it looks really bad.
What I can tell from this is that they're learning that everybody now has ADHD. Because everyone needs to multitask at the same time.
I'm curious. You have this layout.
Yeah.
The 4 related videos underneath, is that scrollable too?
No.
Okay.
like
You
left
scroll-
to right, or
there's
down?
more.
There's
yeah,
more under
either.
it.
There's more under it.
Oh,
Sometimes there's like 6 to 8. Yeah, or 6 to 9.
I mean, obviously YouTube benefits from getting you to click around between videos a lot.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what they want. I think they want you to like, because the thumbnails are a lot bigger than they are.
they're bigger.
They're way bigger than if you're already watching a video because the thumbnails are small when they're on the side. But when you're on the homepage, they're big and they're only a little smaller than the homepage video size. And I think that they just want you to see in your peripheral vision a video that you're interested in so that as soon as this one ends, you click on another one.
I get it. I just think mechanically, like I would rather scroll between more related videos and pick my favorite there.
Yeah.
Than scroll between comments.
I
while
agree,
the video's up.
but I think that like they're kind of taking the TikTok approach where it's just like keep moving, just keep going.
It seems like we're descending into auto scrolling, where like there's just one related video underneath, like ready to play as soon as the first one ends.
Soon you'll never pick a video in the YouTube algorithm.
I mean, it
Just
kind of
pick
does.
the
It has
videos for you.
autoplay already. It's already
That's true.
doing that.
You know what's crazy? Sometimes I watch a YouTube video and I fall asleep to it, and every morning when I wake up, it always I had like watched a 4-hour episode of The Wan Show. It's always The Wan Show
thought it'd be
every
Baby Shark.
single day.
Same.
It's also The Wan Show.
I
You guys
hate
are
it.
always
I think
on
that
the
YouTube-
line.
I hate it.
I think that when it knows that you're like not engaging with it, it kind of thinks you're sleeping, so it just plays
Dude.
the longest possible video so that they can make the
Yeah.
most possible ad revenue.
You know what is
That's my guess.
totally not awesome? Waking up to the sound of Linus Sebastian
I-
every morning.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot.
I have a different theory.
Okay.
I think your guys' algorithms include the show,
But
The
it
Wan
doesn't.
Show?
But I never get suggested the Wan Show on my suggestions
Same.
ever. It only autoplays.
Same.
That is weird.
I
Do you think
because
you
they're all 4 hours, and
Yeah.
my theory is that YouTube makes more money because it plays more ads on a 4-hour thing, and if it knows you're asleep,
mean,
it's like we can trick the advertisers by getting them to pay more.
It's
They're
definitely
juicing the
true that
numbers.
They definitely want to. I'm shocked that it's not in your recommended. I think you've
never
blacked
in
it
my
out from the
that's my
recommended.
theory.
I think it is in recommended.
No,
It's not analysis either.
I promise. The exact same thing happened to me. I'm with David that I think it goes, oh, Ellis is down to like watch all like one of these all the way through starting at 3 a.m. So at 3 a.m., it's like, let's get the WAN show cooking.
Why did it immediately go full screen?
I am not sure if autoplay
This is not the new.
is
I have it on my other computer.
I'm looking at it.
when you open a video. I think your autoplay queue is already stacked. It's already built, no matter what your behavior is,
Really?
based on the first video.
For infinity time?
I don't know how long.
See,
I think there's some list, but I think if that 4-hour thing is anywhere in there, it's going to be the thing you wake up on. Whether it's the second video, or I guess if you sleep for 4 hours, it wouldn't be. But if it's the 10th video or the 20th video, you're going to wake up to it.
Right.
Every now and then I get like a Linus video, but I
Yeah, but Linus is
zero.
But WAN show's on the Linus channel.
Yeah, but I only get WAN show. I don't get regular Linus videos, and there are no.
Well,
WAN
you're
Well,
asleep.
you don't know. You just don't wake up to them. You just
I
don't wake
only
up.
wake up to WAN show though.
The
That's
WAN
what I'm
show is
saying.
4 hours, which gives you a really high likelihood of that being the thing in the.
But
queue
that's
that you
also the
wake
one
up
that
to.
stops
well,
autoplaying after. It always stops autoplaying after a WAN show. So when I wake up, it's like you just watched a 4-hour WAN show, but we stopped autoplaying videos. Every time.
I also think it's the watch time because the only other channel that I watch the entirety of like 2+ hour videos is H Bomber Guy. And now that I've watched like 4 or 5 of those like giant H Bomber Guy videos, it started to autoplay those starting at the 2 to 4 a.m. slot.
My conspiracy theory is that YouTube can tell advertisers, look how many ads we served. And if they like know that you're not really watching, they just play super long videos so that they can.
But we're
serve you
YouTube
more ads.
preemies.
Yeah, I mean,
It still counts as ad. Well,
Yeah, watch time.
yeah, it's watch time.
I guess only for them, not for YouTube. Yeah, I guess that's not benefiting YouTube.
Yeah.
What you should do when you go to sleep is turn on the 5-hour Elemento key typing test that I made and
do
listen to that.
That actually would be.
I will do that. Actually, that could be really nice.
I'm just saying, that's why I made it. 5 hours.
Finger rain.
Before we go to break, I want to give everyone a challenge. Pick a video on your sub box that you were going to watch, and then just like the autocomplete challenge, just hit next in autoplay like 10 times and see where it takes you.
Oh, God.
Like on this video, if you just pulled up this video on YouTube, hit next 10 times and see where it takes you, and leave a comment. Come back and tell me where it took you,
Are we all doing this right now?
wherever auto completes.
I'm doing it.
I want people to do it on this episode of this podcast and see where it takes them.
Oh, wait, so we shouldn't do it.
How do I click?
Yeah.
Oh,
Not,
yeah,
I'm doing it. Let's go. I would
Wait,
watch
so
this
I-
video.
It's that next button, right?
I just.
There's
how
a
many times
next
do you want me to
button
click
on
it?
YouTube?
Yeah, for your next autoplayed video.
Whoops, sorry.
It's what was going to show up in next.
Mine went
Wait,
from.
I don't have a next button.
next to the play button.
It's right next to
Hit
the
it.
play pause button.
Yep.
How many times do I click?
I didn't
Pro
know that
YouTuber
existed.
Right here.
Okay.
All right, 1,
10, maybe.
2.
I just think it's like when you hit
3.
autocomplete on your
Bro,
phone,
this
you
is so
write
funny.
I space and then just fill in the blanks for the rest of the sentence.
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot about you.
I
That's your
want
personal
to
algorithm.
Give you
I'm-
a hug.
That was very interesting. Mine did very specific things. It did 3. So I clicked on a disc golf channel called Another Round Disc Golf. It played 3 of those. Then it played 5-hour-plus long RuneScape lo-fi beats like music channels, and then played 3 Lawrence music videos. Like it sectioned them, not like staggered. It went 3 disc golf, 5 RuneScape, 3 Lawrence.
So I started on a CoffeeZilla video. It played another CoffeeZilla video, and then it played 8 Last Week Tonight episodes.
Yeah, what the? Why is it doing it in order?
I got something totally different. I clicked on a secret base video, shout out, and then it played 9 I Did a Thing videos.
I was not expecting it to
I clicked
keep
on-
going in.
I did one. I did a Doug DeMuro video, and then I got a bunch of cars and bids videos in a row. And then the last one of them was a car spotting video, and then I got a bunch of other channels car spotting videos.
This
What's car spot?
is kind of fast.
People go out into cities and take videos of cool cars they see. It's like train spotting, but even more niche. No, that's not true. Car spotting
what
is
train
less niche.
spotting is?
Train spotting is I know that this type of train is going to go through this station at this time, and I'm going to go look at it.
That's a Michael Fisher activity.
Plane
right there.
spotting.
Plane spotting's fun.
Plane spotting is I know that this plane lands or takes off from this airport at this time, and I'm going to watch that.
This is,
It can be cool.
So, car spotting.
We're Newark.
I
is
respect
a good
people
airport for
having
plane
interests.
spotting.
That's all I'm
our
gonna say.
parking lot is probably a good.
Yeah.
They're not quite low enough to really be like, oh, it's that.
Maybe if you had a Samsung Galaxy with 100x zoom,
Man, if I had a Samsung
and then
Galaxy.
you could take a picture of it, and the moon would be there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're off the rails. We're gonna take a quick break.
I feel like this happens every time we talk about the YouTube UI.
Yeah, that's exactly how I expected it to go. But we will come back and talk about the Rabbit R1, our thoughts here, and iPhone emulators, of course. But before we take a quick break, we should do a quick round of our world famous section where we do the thing where we answer questions, trivia.
Trivia question. Where's Adam?
Well, I straight up thought he was going to be in today. I didn't realize he was going to be gone.
Where is Adam Molina?
You're not going to get
What is Adam Molina's
We're
address?
answering impossible questions.
Adam Molina is currently located in Brooklyn, New York, United States.
Bro.
Playing hooky.
In his LinkedIn profile.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, that's just
He's
where it
currently
says.
in Brooklyn, New York. He should be at the podcast.
Adam, what the hell?
I mean, that's pretty cool. It knew it was him.
That's impressive.
That's impressive.
Wait,
So,
let's see, hold on.
gentlemen,
You guys are not allowed to. Actually, you can use the rabbit for the trivia
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Perfect.
Where in the world?
Say the
is
trivia
Carmen
question.
Sandiego?
Say it.
wait. I can do a harder trivia question if we want to open it up to rabbits.
Yeah, and then Marques and I will both use the
I was
rabbit
going
to
to
see
say,
if
but
we get different
if you're going to
answers.
use it, the rule is your answer has to be what the rabbit says. Like you
And
can't.
I'm not
Can it be
using
the-
And you have to write all of it down.
I'm not using it.
I have faith.
It can be that this. Why we can make this one.
I don't know why.
No. We'll maybe if we have time at the end, we'll include it. But
I can
you
go get
guys
the
got me
G-Wagon.
really stoked when we were talking about a teenage engineering calculator. So both of my questions are vaguely calculator related today. The second one more than the first one. The first one actually has nothing to do with calculators, but a calculator on the iPad got me really stoked. And it made me think about the last app Apple took forever to release on the iPad, weather. And so my question for you is, how many years into the iPad's lifespan did it take for Apple to put their weather app on it?
Is this closest delta?
I was going to ask if you guys wanted to do closest delta or our
Yeah.
in beta range, multiple people can get points type beat.
In beta range?
Where you have like a target range, and if you're within 3,
Yeah,
you get
like if you're
points.
in this, you get this. I think we should do closest delta.
I agree.
Sure,
Yeah.
for closest delta.
And then we should definitely ask Rabbit both of these questions at the end of the episode after we answer.
After we answer.
If the rabbit can get the second question, that would be really
I actually think that
that
question you
is a
just
pretty
asked
good
is
question
kind of
to
hard.
ask it. Yeah.
I think for it to answer specifically the answer you're looking for, it took a long time for the weather app to come out. How long was it available without the weather app
the
is a hard
question-
thing to actually answer straight up.
The question is, will it get it right? And you can't
Yeah.
just trust it.
Will it confidently
You're
tell
going to
you?
have to look it up anyway.
Yeah, it could confidently just say something.
Yeah.
Well, we will all think about that. Our answers will be at the end, like usual. We'll be right back. Support for this episode of Waveform comes from Gigabyte. So there's a lot to talk about how AI is revolutionizing our world. Computers are writing newsletters, robotic bees are pollinating flowers, and a new wave of driverless taxis are popping up in cities all across the world. But how can AI power our passions and what we do for fun? That's where Gigabyte's AI gaming laptops come in. So their range of powerful and portable new laptops deliver cutting-edge performance for anyone looking to explore the brave new world of AI-powered gaming. Every 2024 Aorus machine comes equipped with the new Gigabyte AI Nexus, which is like a central hub loaded with all the AI-powered features you could hope for. That includes super useful tools like AI Power Gear, which automatically throttles and extends your computer's battery life depending on your power usage and source. You'll also get access to AI Boost, which optimizes performance based on what you're doing in that moment. So whether you're ripping through a new FPS or running your own large language model, AI Boost automatically adjusts the GPU and processors to maximize response and deliver unparalleled efficiency. And lastly, AI Generator includes various generative AI apps for a quick startup. So all 2024 Gigabyte models seamlessly integrate with tools like OpenAI and Microsoft's Copilot AI chatbot, but the Aorus 16X and Gigabyte G6X take it to the next level with a dedicated Copilot key, allowing users to swiftly tap into its productivity and generative AI capabilities. Now, Ellis, I think you're also a gamer, as I understand.
I have been known to be a gamer, yes.
Have you thought about how maybe AI can benefit your gaming?
I have, because I myself am actually a cloud gamer. And when you're doing a lot of cloud gaming, it's really obvious what sort of video compression schemes are being used because it is really compressed. And I would be curious about some content-aware visual AI that can pick the most important details to deliver to me uncompressed and leaving the less important details noisy as all heck.
For efficiency. Checks out. So all models are available to purchase right now at aorus.com/laptops/AI aorus.com/gigabyte-AI. So that's aorus.com/laptops/gigabyte-AI. Gigabyte. Team up, fight on. All right, welcome back. This is the part where we talk Rabbit R1. I'm holding the Rabbit R1 here. David is also holding a Rabbit R1. Andrew
This is where I would be holding
one.
if I had one.
For those unfamiliar, the Rabbit R1, how do I describe this? So there's a new category of device. It is hardware focused on AI. I guess that's the best way to put it. Hardware driven by AI. The most recent of which is the infamous Humane AI pin that you might have seen. I reviewed it. It was not good. The other that's coming out in a staggeringly similar timeline, or at least within a few weeks of the AI pin, is this, the Rabbit R1. They are supposed to be able to do a lot of the same stuff, but they do have some very notable, obvious differences. And it's kind of like, it reminds me of when the Tesla Model S came out, and then every electric vehicle for the next 4 years was compared to the Model S, whether or not they were even remotely in the same category. It would be like, here's a F-150 Lightning versus Tesla Model S. It's like one of them is a pickup truck, but because they're in the same category of electric, they just get compared to each other.
Yeah.
So the Rabbit R1 is different from the Humane pin.
It has a screen.
It has a screen. It's the size of like a postage, I would say like a Post-it note stack, roughly.
That's a way better analogy.
Holy hell, that's fantastic.
What have people been saying that it's the size of? Like a phone?
It's like half the size of a phone.
It's also like a Galaxy Z Flip.
That's exactly when it's full.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It has a camera that swivels. It is not wearable, at least without additional accessories. It's supposed to be in your pocket. It has a button.
Belt clip with this would be fire.
It would be fire.
Could be. It is a touch screen. It does not make phone calls or send text messages, but it does have a SIM card tray for cellular data.
4G.
4G data. But the idea is mostly the same, that you're carrying around AI in a separate box from your phone with you to do some things that you don't do on your phone.
Yeah.
That's the high level of what this is. There are obvious upsides and downsides.
Yeah.
Upside being could do some cool, neat stuff and be very helpful. Downside being now you charge twice as many things. Now you carry twice as many things. Now you spend twice as many dollars. But I will say the Rabbit is $200 and does not have a monthly subscription until you buy a data-only SIM, and then you have a monthly plan. Unlike the Humane pin, which was $700, $700 or $800, plus the $24 a month for the services and data that comes with it. So I think they're going to lean into that as being their number one differentiator, is it's much cheaper. And I'll tell you right now, it makes sense holding it exactly why it's cheaper. This is a very basic screen. This is it is made of, I believe it's plastic. I'm going to double check, but it's this bright neon orange. It's collab and design with Teenage Engineering. But it's not like this hunk of metal or anything crazy like that. And the processor and internals are very minimal.
MediaTek.
It comes in a cardboard box with a plastic shell around it, and it doesn't even come with a brick or a cable. Like it's obviously they're making money just on the hardware here. Fine. But what does it do? Would you actually carry this? These are very early impressions. We picked it up last night.
Yeah.
It's been sitting here in the studio for less than 3 hours. What are your initial thoughts, David?
So I want to talk about what the dream of what this product is supposed to be.
I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah. So their whole thing, which is very different from the Humane AI pin, is they have a thing called the large action model.
Yeah.
And the idea there is when new products come out, this happens with like Razer all the time. They'll come out with some new like, oh, we put new RGB lights in this, and if a game developer wants to, they can plug into our open API and use it, and then one game uses it because they partner with them to use it, and nobody else uses it. Yeah. And when you're trying to build out a product based on an open API, but you're a new product, Uber doesn't care about you. Like, nobody cares about you, right? So their whole idea is, we're not going to deal with APIs. We're going to learn how people use web apps on their computer, and we're just going to teach an AI how to click things for it. So it's going to do semantic segmentation to understand what buttons are, what icons are, so that if you train it enough, it can click. When you say, play this on Spotify for me, it'll in the cloud somewhere, click around the fake buttons on the Spotify in the cloud to start playing it on the device. This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
From a high level.
I will say, between the Humane AI pin and this like fundamental idea that the rabbit should eventually get to, I love.
Me too.
Because this whole thing, and I talked about this in that last video, is I want an assistant that I can treat like a human assistant.
Yeah.
I don't have a human assistant, but what I want is to be able to talk to this device like a human, for it to understand me like a human, and then it can go do things like a human.
Yeah.
And if I were to get a human assistant, you would also theoretically need to train them to do certain things. Like the first time I ever say, hey, can you book flights? They're like, okay, well, do you like window seats or aisle seats? What airlines, what, airport do you prefer? All that stuff. But once you train them once or twice, they should just get it and be able to do it.
Yeah.
And that is exactly how you treat this idea.
Right.
It should just be able to do whatever you can do because it's doing the same actions that you would do, and it takes that off your plate. And if you ever need to train it, it should be able to accept that training and do more stuff. So fundamentally,
yes,
even though it doesn't have any apps or any APIs, it can interact with things the same way you can, and I love that part.
Yeah. In the AI space, they call these agents. Rabbit is calling them rabbits, which is it's just an agent.
Cool.
Yeah. So, when you teach your rabbit how to do stuff for you, you do have to train it how to use a website or an app, right? Because it's basically based on like web apps and like computer apps. And the high level idea is that there's like a training suite where you basically record your screen and it learns how you click on things. So during the keynote last night, they gave a demo where they were training it how to buy an iPhone for you on Amazon. So they basically like recorded the screen of the person going on Amazon, searching iPhone 14, clicking add to cart. Now, the problem right now is that the approach they're taking is very similar to the Tesla full self-driving approach.
Which is it needs to see every situation to learn it.
Correct. Yeah. And when Tesla sold cars that were cars first, and then something that was happening that the cars were just doing in the background that people didn't have to manually do themselves, was it was recording all of the drives.
It was seeing a bunch of situations and how the human handled it.
Yeah. And it was also able to like recognize objects by just taking in an insane amount of data and putting that in the cloud and using that as a model.
It didn't even necessarily, this is just semantics, but it didn't even necessarily recognize the object. Like it doesn't see a stop sign for the first time and go, what is that? And then the human stops and it goes, oh, stop sign.
Yeah, they weren't tagged.
It never even knows that it's a stop sign. It just goes, when I see that again, this is my behavior because this is how you're supposed to handle this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense. But the fact that was like, people were just buying the cars anyway because they were like trendy and electric and cool. And then that was an additional thing that was happening in the background. The thing with Rabbit is when they first announced it, they showed off the training program, the training model, and all this stuff. And theoretically, they have 800 apps trained. The problem right now is something they said last night at the keynote is for every app that you train, you have to develop an interface to interact with the app on the screen on the Rabbit. And that takes a lot of UX design man hours. Yeah. So what they want to do, what they're building towards, is a generative UX thing where you train the thing, it automatically knows, oh, this is a music app, oh, this is a shopping app, and it develops the buttons on the device itself. This is a little bit of a letdown because currently, besides being able to do all the ChatGPT stuff that it, because it's a ChatGPT box, basically, and answering your questions, whatever, it currently connects to 4 apps. Spotify, DoorDash, Uber, and Midjourney.
So these are the ones where the experience is fully built out the way they want it to be.
They have a UX on the device for that experience.
So that means, like taking Spotify, for example, I pull up the Rabbit and I start to ask for a task from Spotify, and it has a screen on it so that if I do need additional input, I can interact with it there. So like I say, hey, pull up and play the most popular song from Hans Zimmer's discography. And then it goes, well, here's the most popular one. Do you want to play the second most popular one too? And that's how you interact.
Do you want me to demo it right now?
Sure.
I mean, we would have to
because it's gonna
out.
Sure. But the point is it has a screen.
Yeah.
And unlike the Humane pin, you can directly interact with it on the screen right away.
Yeah.
Because there's a little UI built.
Yeah.
But that's only for these 4 apps. And for all of the rest of the hundreds, you either can't make any adjustments or you just kind of have to trust that what it's doing is what you want.
Yeah. Are there any music artists that we're whitelisted on this channel for that I can play?
Vainsil, you can do Vainsil.
Yeah. Okay.
It's also an interesting name if it understands it.
Play the best songs from 20 SYL.
Okay, starting the music player now.
Okay. So it's playing a 20 SYL song. You can see it on the screen. And because it's just... I'm going to stop this just so it's not being annoying. Okay, I can pause. Cool. Because it's playing it attached to my Spotify, when you open up Spotify on my laptop, you can see the same song is being played on my laptop. So you don't see a mouse like moving around and clicking things because it's doing it in the back end. But that's how they get around the API thing, is that they have like a virtual semantically understood, like these are where the buttons are. I'm recognizing the buttons. I'm clicking the buttons for you.
Yeah.
And then I'm pushing that to your rabbit.
Like macro type activities.
Yes.
It reminds me so much of like botting in video games. Like RuneScape used to just literally be like, if you don't want to do this really, really tedious grind of some
100%.
Dumb activity like tree cutting, you would just download a bot that knows how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the bot that
Gonna
knows how to do
RuneScape
it.
bot real good. I can't wait.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer that right now there's only 4 apps that have UXs on it. So otherwise, it's got effectively the same functionality as the Humane AI pen, although in our 4 apps.
Well, I would say it can do a lot just by interacting with those 800 apps that the Humane pin couldn't.
But you can't interact with them.
You can't.
They're trained, but you can't interact with them.
I can't do anything with them.
No, because you can't sign into your account. There has to be a UX to be able to sign into the account to interact with the app.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah, because then so that's funny. When I logged in, I logged into Spotify.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny. I went into the web portal, and it was very clearly like, I'm going through a macro instruction phase right now by signing in and like putting in. It wasn't just a normal username and password thing. It felt like it was.
Wait, did you sign in through this?
No, I signed in the web portal.
Oh, okay.
And the mouse button was different. Like all these things were different about it, which felt like I am teaching it right now how to log into my account. And I did, and now it works. But I do realize now you need that UI just to log into any account in any app.
So it's like different. It's not just like the like normal little pop-up that comes up that's like link this or like sign in with your Google account.
It looked just like that. No, it looked just like that.
Hole, yeah.
But the mouse was different, and the window was like windowed off like 3 times. It looked kind of weird.
So and that's in the like web,
in the web portal,
the rabbit hole portal.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so like you looked like you were on essentially like a virtual machine inside of a web portal.
That's actually what it is. It is a virtual
It is a virtual machine.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. That feels so weird.
Yeah.
I get it, but it feels weird. Like
it is a very smart way from a high level to get around the API problem. However, you run into some weird things. Like when you're setting up the Rabbit, you have to do it on your laptop because if you do it on a phone, there is a mouse that is floating that you can't move.
Exactly.
Oh.
So because unless you'd like plugged in a mouse to your Android phone and moved the mouse physically, it doesn't let you do that.
Here's a question, and I know we're only on 4 apps right now, right? Even though they said 800 trained or something like that, right? Which hopefully comes out sometime soon.
Yeah.
Everyone loves the launch of a product with none of the things they promised originally.
Coming soon?
Yeah.
But like just for example, we just talked about YouTube completely changing their whole web layout design.
Yes.
What are we gonna get if YouTube's on there or DoorDash is a new updates their design and buttons are different?
The idea is like the way that scripts work, like for example, Fuji recently released a special edition X100V. They got scalped instantly when it went on sale. And the way that those scalpers work is you're predetermining what area of the screen to click, and then the macros just do it. But the way that they're doing this is they're semantically understanding what is this button. Like if I see this green button with a play logo, I know that's a play button, and therefore I know to click that. So even if it gets moved on the screen somewhere else, theoretically, it already knows to click that, and that means play.
Yeah, what if like, let's take for instance the like button, or it used to be a 5-star rating on like YouTube, then switch to a thumbs up like button. Like you can have a significant change.
It would have to be retrained, yeah.
Yeah.
fun.
So the training is a weird thing because we were talking about the whole Tesla full self-driving approach. They were originally, I think, just gonna like the training of how do I use this web app, and you can just train it yourself. That was something that was super exciting about this device that I think a lot of people were hyped on, because it's like, oh, even if I have this really narrow use case that only me and a few other people do, if I just show it what I'm doing enough times, then it should be able to do it for me from my thing. But they kind of went into this thing about AI safety at the event, and they were like, we realized we don't want people making malicious scripts with this that they can train, so we're going to like red team this until later this year when we know it's safe to release. The problem, though, is if you do that, then you have 4 apps that you can use in a ChatGPT box.
Yeah,
That's basically
the
it.
problem with that is you said all this stuff was going to happen, got 100,000 pre-orders,
And
then said it's not
coming
there,
soon.
coming soon.
Yeah.
This is the fundamental like buying a device based on future promises thing, where AI in general has all this gigantic future promise, and we're coming out with a device that's based on it super early, and it delivers almost none of that promise. And you could make a real emotional argument that this is worth buying based on the possible future of what it could be to you, but it makes it impossible to review right now because it just doesn't do that stuff.
Yeah.
And I do think the price is significant though. $200. I'm way more interested in spending $200 on something that could be something cool, and maybe I could toy around with, because it's $200 and,
there's not a
not
subscription.
$800
To give it a shot.
Yeah, I do think I guess you don't need the cellular data.
No, you could
right?
just use Wi-Fi if you want.
Okay, so you don't need to pay for a data card that will cost money per month eventually, which feels like a little whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I love the color. It feels like it could be fun. $200 isn't the worst if you're down to like throw some money at something. I think this has, my ultimate thought on it though is just like, when I think of the AI pin, the Humane pin, and this is that like the AI pin at least makes sense to not be your phone. This makes 0 sense to not just be an app on your phone, because the AI pin's on your body and your phone can be in your backpack. You have to interact with this almost exactly like how you would interact with a phone. It has nothing extra. In fact, everything is worse than your phone. The screen, the camera, the processor,
Smartphones are still
every single part of this is worse than your phone.
Yeah.
And you still need to pull it out of your pocket to
Right.
use it. So you're using it exactly.
And you
how
gotta
would
charge
use your
it.
phone.
So every time you have to use it, you have to make that decision. Like, am I going to pull my phone out to do this, or am I going to pull this other thing out my other pocket to use this? So the
Yeah.
friction level to get to your phone is the same as getting
the
to this.
same.
So I'm going to pick my phone most of the time because my phone's really good at pictures and videos and looking stuff
And
up.
the pin, at least their marketing thing was like, you don't need to keep reaching for your phone. It's on your body already. Listen, we already talked about all the shortcomings of that, but
That is a fair.
I think that's a fair
Yeah,
assessment
for sure.
between the two of them.
Yeah. Here's some other interesting things that it does. Treat it like a human, but like a superhuman. If you point it at a large paragraph of text or an article and say, summarize this for me, it will read the entire thing and summarize it for you in like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It is a lot faster than the Humane pin
definitely
so far.
feels
It's
faster.
noticeably
It's
faster.
noticeably, and I noticed that it'll have the rabbit be like, sure, let me take a look at that for you.
Just to burn time.
It's burning time.
That sounds so simple, but the Humane pin doesn't do that. The Humane pin waits.
Occasionally does that.
No, it does it, but after a wait. It's. I feel like it always does like pause. Looking up how old the Williamsburg Bridge is, or looking up the Williamsburg Bridge is like,
Yes.
it just is later. Like, do it first so I know
Adding
you're doing
little
it.
time stoppers like that to make it feel like you're having a real conversation makes it feel like the wait time is less than it is.
Or to even just
a
make
very
sure that
smart
it
thing to do.
heard you. The Humane pin, there were times where I saw Marques be like,
True.
ask it, like, how old is David Amell?
Just
And then
silence.
go to ask it again, and it would be like, looking David Amell. And it's like, well, now I pressed it again and
Yeah.
activated it. And I don't know if it heard me the
when we were
first time.
recording the review, I remember you would ask it a question. We'd wait like 5 seconds, and then you'd be like, "I guess it didn't hurt me." Try to start to continue your script, and then you'd be talking and be like,
Yeah, I would just start talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a subtle thing, but that's really smart to immediately engage, burn a little time, and confirm that it actually heard you.
Yeah.
Which is smart.
"Yeah,
It does have a little speaker on it. It does have a small virtual keyboard. This is a touch screen.
Yeah.
So you can input your Wi-Fi password. A hilarious bug is that there is no % button on the keyboard.
Yeah.
So if you get this before the OTA update and you have a % in your Wi-Fi password, you can't use it because it can't connect to Wi-Fi to get the OTA update. So that was kind of weird, but hopefully you get the update somehow.
Can you even have a % in your Wi-Fi password?
Yeah, lots of people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unfortunately. So those people shouldn't get the original Rabbit.
So
I'm sure there's another way to connect.
you can to go into your settings, you shake it. Like I feel like this has like a lot of teenage engineering blood in it, which is
hidden UI.
Which is to say, like, make it like weirdly quirky and slightly annoying in favor of being quirky. You know, the problem is like, you know, I got settings, but when I go back home, it just goes back to the Spotify app, and you can't get out of I don't really know.
It is not as intuitive.
It's not as intuitive.
It is. That's how I'm looking at it.
Sorry.
From how many times David's played
copyrighted music.
Yeah.
Professional tech reviewer. How do I pause it? Like that's where we're at.
Also, the scroll wheel, in my opinion, oh my goodness.
David, it's copyrighted.
I don't know.
I'm talking so you can't hear it. I'm saving it.
Okay. The scroll wheel.
Shake it harder.
Okay. The scroll wheel acceleration, I think, needs to be a little bit tweaked.
Yeah, you got to turn it to.
You got to turn it a lot to do a couple of things.
If this had like steps on it, like I could tell like some better feedback in the wheel, it would be so much better.
Yeah. The haptic feedback is actually not bad. It's not super
have it turned on.
There's haptics.
Yeah, right?
Mine does.
This does not.
I thought there. Oh, when you're using the keyboard, it does have haptics.
So there's a haptic motor in there. It just doesn't work for most stuff.
I don't know how to get back out of Spotify, which is unfortunate.
Does it have like a home screen to go back to even?
No, there's
It has settings.
You just hit the
go
button.
home.
Ordering an Uber for.
Okay, it did do that. It went home. Okay.
Purchasing home.
Okay. Purchasing.
Oh yeah, it does have.
Okay.
Connects to Redfin and just buys you a house.
So here's the keyboard. It's very cute, very terminally, which is very nice.
You can type on that?
Yeah, it's actually not bad. It's wider than your iPhone mini keyboard, bro.
No.
It is.
Hold up.
Yeah. At least Jesse said that on
I
stage.
remember. So he was talking about it and how you type here and how you can. So you can type with
not
the
as tall.
keyboard, and you can scroll through with the wheel, which is cool. But enter is always
You gotta hit
the
the-
button. And when he was holding it and I was watching the video, I assumed the button was top right.
Yeah.
It is underneath, which feels.
It's kind of
If I'm using both my thumbs to type, that is a weird spot to enter every time.
Yeah, okay, so we can compare. So like the iPhone keyboard is a lot taller.
Which helps.
It's about the same width. Yeah. I didn't find it that hard to type on, to be honest.
What? Why is the keyboard touchscreen, but it seems like the rest of the device?
That's what
not
I also
touchscreen?
don't understand that.
Okay.
They force you to. This feels like teenage engineering. It's the same thing. Adam, did he put that video out yet? The like white people want
yet.
Oh, okay. Anyway, this feels like
to the
teenage
studio channel.
Yeah, this feels like teenage engineering. Teenage engineering always like adds these weird things that they could add easily, but they intentionally don't, so that you have to use a workaround that is quirkier theoretically, but kind of annoying.
My theory is that they like voice better, and they probably want to focus on voice things. That's why they don't want you to use the touchscreen as much.
Oh wow. Yeah, but the thing is, like, if I'm in the settings menu. Oh wait, right. You have to shake it. Okay, if I'm in the settings menu, why can't I just tap this when this is a touchscreen?
agree.
That part is really.
You have to use the wheel
Yeah.
And the button.
and the button. Yeah. Okay. So
Bro, you're chewing through battery.
I know.
Holy cow.
yeah. So this
We
is,
maxed our brightness though. So-
I think you should be able to.
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I started my day. Actually, I started the podcast sitting down with 96% battery.
Okay.
Ellis, how long have we been sitting here recording?
That's a great question, Marques. We have been sitting here recording for 1 hour and 18 minutes now.
So in that 78-minute span, I have burned all the way down to 71% battery.
Okay.
I've done a few queries,
Yeah.
but that's about 20% battery
In an
in
hour.
70 minutes.
Yeah. That's a
Do
lot.
the math. It's probably going to have to be charging soon.
4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. The interesting thing is I feel like the approach they're going with is like could not be more different from Humane, where Humane was like, get rid of, well, they didn't say get rid of, well, they kind of said get rid of, I don't know.
They said it and then
but they were like,
retracted
we need to change the way we interact with technology. We need to have a more humane approach to technology. They had their turtlenecks on and did their whole.
And this one's literally like, no humans, animals, rabbits.
Yeah. Well, and also Jesse he like keeps recording himself like doing things, and then it messes up, and he's like, just so you know, guys, this is a beta. Like, I don't know. So to me, it feels like they're letting the people who are like hyped about a new product category like beta test this for them, and they want
Tried and true strategy.
They want to set the expectations so low that even if it doesn't really work, nobody can get mad at them. Which kind of like, I generally prefer the under promise approach, because even if you don't deliver, you never promised anything.
Is it under promising though? If in the original keynote you say you can train it to do things and it has 800, and then it can't do either of them.
I strongly agree with that. That's a problem.
I mean, like, I think the under promise part is that it's way cheaper, and I'm way more okay beta testing something and learning how to do something for $200 than $800.
Yeah.
I don't know why I kind of want this, even though I'm like, I have not said a single nice thing about it.
Yeah.
Because it's a teenage engineering product.
Camera, bad. Battery, bad. Functionality, bad.
Orange,
Chef's
chef's kiss.
Okay, hear me out. What if it is actually an amazing product and it's just the wrong demographic?
What are you talking about?
What demographic?
Think about it.
Old people?
It's bright orange. It has a tiny keyboard, and it can answer really simple questions.
Babies?
Guys, this is for kids. Picture your little
Lane.
kid.
I'm getting one
be
for
like,
Lane.
I don't need to teach you anything. Just go out in the world. The kid's like, what color is that?
Whoa.
What shape is that?
Yeah, this
And
is
it's like,
huge.
that's an octagon.
Something
We don't even need school anymore.
You don't need school. You have
It
the
is-
Rabbit R1.
It is kind of like a legit Pokédex, because you can just point it at things and ask what it is, and ask what that's what a Pokédex does.
Would you be the coolest 6-year-old or the lamest 6-year-old if you brought this to preschool and you were like, check this out.
Coolest.
If
What
I had
lunch
this
is
in
this?
preschool-
And it said like, this is Chips Ahoy.
But even like, how do I spell that?
Or like walking up to a building and be like, what's inside there?
Yeah. How do I do math?
Can I pet that dog?
Like, yeah, exactly. You know, like maybe this helps children navigate the world in a way that
That's
parents who are too busy.
Actually, a great point.
Jesse, I'm not available for hire.
He was so close to getting the right target demographic, but instead he got.
But how do you market this to kids?
Yeah.
I guess they
still-
already kind of are. I don't know.
Sorry.
Sorry, continue.
I was just gonna say, like, I keep like thinking about this and how they're always like, just ask it this, and then I think, like, if this had a touchscreen, I would like to do some things quiet.
Well, you can. You can type with the.
You can just in the terminal.
You can ask the
I thought it was just like.
I asked it the weather. It told me the weather for Illinois. It was great.
Oh, okay, so I can do that.
Yeah, you can.
But I have to go into the.
No, you just turn
I
it
have to
sideways.
shake it
No,
and
you
then
just-
turn terminal on again.
Oh, do you turn it off?
Why is it called terminal? That makes it sound like it's okay. Cool. That's my fault. I'm just wrong. And then I can turn it this way and say,
Yeah.
who hosts sick? I don't know what
This
I
is gonna
did.
take a while.
I think I hit the scroll wheel and went back.
It's perfect timing.
I'm trying as hard
It
as I
is
can here.
not as easy as the iPhone keyboard. I will.
In
say
this
that.
time, I could have pulled my phone out of my pocket and just typed.
Bro,
whatever
you're just not
trying to
thinking.
type.
Yeah, this is hard.
Why did I?
Okay, this is harder than I thought.
This is.
His keyboard's bad.
I think I could get.
It's got some
used
nice
to it
feedback,
eventually.
though.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's a bad keyboard.
I mean, yeah.
It's searching. The Waveform podcast is hosted by Marques Brownlee, Andrew Manganelli, and David Amell. Now I'm going to ask one more question. I asked the Humane. The Humane pin got that right.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to ask it the question it got wrong. And then I said,
Which was?
who produces that podcast? Does it,
I'm gonna get
in terminal, is it going to understand the...
this.
I think
the
so.
context.
The
of
context?
You should be able to chain questions.
Okay, I just said. I typed much better that time.
Nice.
It got this one wrong the same way. The Waveform podcast is produced by Marques Brownlee, Studio 71.
Oh, old answers. Yeah.
Not true.
It's old.
It's
Yeah.
produced by Alice Rovin and Adam Molina.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Are you sure? Sorry.
So it kind of feels like to me that something that I kind of like took in from the event was they showed like all of these partners that they started bringing in. And just for context, Jesse is like a serial startup founder, and he was in Y Combinator, which is the biggest startup incubator in the world in the Bay Area. And Humane kind of took this approach. The way I see it, Humane is trying to be Apple and Rabbit is trying to be Android. They're like, we want partners to work with us, but
That's a great analogy. Sorry.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Checks out in a lot of ways.
We're gonna like enable a terminal. We're gonna work on all these like
unlock
workarounds.
USB-C for you.
Yeah, they said they were gonna like allow the port to do whatever. They're just gonna like do whatever you want with this, and it's kind of like a low end thing, but like figure out how to hack it and make it interesting. Whereas Humane is like, we have our OS that's a closed ecosystem that only works with like our Humane stuff, and it doesn't do anything else.
They are doing future doing something, opening APKs or something like that with Humane Pin for other people to do stuff. But
I think it's like the OS or something, right?
I think so, but I guess the OS is what's running the pin. No,
Cosmos.
But I don't know. Wait, did you see what it said?
Yeah.
I said, are you sure that's who hosts it? It said, yes. And I said, no, it's not. And it said, sorry, or I apologize. And then I said, fix it. And it said, the Waveform podcast is produced by Studio 71. I just said the same thing again.
Oh, yeah. So it was interesting because like during the keynote, Jesse's like, you guys asked for perplexity. We added perplexity. You guys asked for this. We added this. Mm-hmm. So to me, they're like, this device is all about partnerships and like hacking your way into it working. And it just feels like a very different approach than Humane was taking.
Yeah.
I still think that this is more of a tech demo than it is like a product that is going to change the way you interact with technology right now. It's sort of just showing you what you could theoretically maybe do in the future if it was better. I think it's like a beta device. It feels like people that want to just have a fun little thing to mess around with and play with AI hardware, that's what this is for.
It is a really cool way to show off a really sweet technology that is large action models.
Yeah.
And like whether this is the
training.
Exactly. There's a ton of training to do. Whether this is like going to be the coolest product ever, probably not, but large action models are awesome, and this is going to be a fun way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm weirdly excited for it because, like what you said, I think people are going to do some crazy with it, like weird stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what they do. And some of that might be kind of cool and at a way cheaper price point. Mm-hmm. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And by excited, I mean, I still will not buy one of these, but I still think I can't wait till Adam buys this and thinks of something really cool to do with it.
The CEO and founder of Teenage Engineering is now the chief product officer of Rabbit as well.
I think Jesse was on the Teenage Engineering board.
He's still on the board.
Yeah, okay.
They're basically like this.
They just high-fived on stage, basically.
Yeah.
I appreciate that Jesse goes into the Discord and shows off a lot of stuff to the people in there. Humane also has people in and out of their Discord, but Jesse feels like he is really reacting to a lot of things. He made that video, and he's making that video. What?
Humane has a Discord too?
Yeah, they do have a Discord. And Bethany and Imran go in it, but Jesse like feels like he's interacting way more and like showing off things on it, which I think is really neat. And
I have two closing thoughts.
Okay.
I mean, these are obviously super early impressions. We just got the device, and I'm working on the review. But my two closing thoughts from this. One is, when you zoom all the way out, and like I always try to think like how I would explain this to like a teammate or a regular person who's not into tech, and it's up against the exact same questions as a Humane pin. Wait, so it does what my phone does, but on another device? Like that's still, it's up against that, obviously. But my other thought, which I've been like composing into maybe a video in my head, which is interesting, is technology has allowed so many of these new categories of products to come out long before they are actually reaching their potential as what they're supposed to be as a product.
100%.
From games getting like sloppily released, but then software updates can fix them.
Thank you. Alpha games. Sorry, I'm interrupting you, but that's how I've been like semi-comparing this to. It's just annoying. Like every game is an alpha release, which basically is like you can pay a little bit less than $60, but you have to tell me that you're okay with this game having a ton of problems, and we'll fix it when we feel like it.
So that happens all the time. We've talked about it earlier today. Cars coming out with software features that are basically alpha and that may get better and live up to the promise over time later, to Obviously, smartphones, this happens all the time. Apple announced a new iPhone, and Deep Fusion's coming later this year. And just trust me on this one. Yeah. All the way to these things, which are like at the furthest end of the tail, where they come out and they're almost useless. But the idea of what they could be in 3 years is this gigantic, beautiful assistant in your pocket thing.
So invest in it now.
It's just technology has just created this thing that I have feelings about.
Feels like everything is a Kickstarter now.
Yeah,
it's like you need to give us money so that we can achieve the dream that you want.
Mm-hmm.
But
and then beta test it.
You got to give us the money to do it now.
Yeah. Do you believe in us?
Unfortunately,
so sharks.
It feels like most of the products don't deliver though on like their dream, which is just super disappointing.
Which is why I give my endlessly evergreen advice of to buy a product for what it is now.
Yeah.
Buy the game for what it is now. Buy the car for what it is now.
Yeah.
Buy the phone for what it is now. Buy the R1 for what it is right now.
Also, I/O and WWDC are next month and the month after, so it's going to be very interesting to see how those companies react to this.
I cannot wait to see the Google Assistant and Siri updates this year.
It's going to be spicy.
It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah.
This is my prediction for the Rabbit R1, specifically this product. Just this product. This is the new Spotify car things.
Yeah. Aww, that's
I mean,
so sad.
Tell me I'm wrong. It's kind of cool, and then nobody really liked it, and then you got it for really cheap later, and then everyone found kind of cool things to do with it on
Everyone
the side.
hacked it and did their own thing with it.
Car Things 2.0.
You can take the dive for $200. But this is a good place to end it. I think a good thing to keep in mind is this is literally just our very first day of impressions, and we're working on a whole bunch more research and eventually a full review, so stay tuned for that. But we got much more to talk about after the break. We got emulators. We got TikTok, or the lack of it. But before that, we should take a break with trivia.
Trivia!
All right, so the Calculator app, calculators, we're back. The Calculator app on the original iPhone was actually based on a classic calculator from 1977. There are 2 points up for grabs in this question. 1 point if you can name the legendary German housewares company that made this calculator. They're still in business today. They're mostly known for clocks and razors nowadays. Another point if you can name the designer who made this calculator, who shares a first name with a famous tech journalist.
There's not that many famous. Okay.
Can we just put their first names?
I will accept just the first name.
Okay, cool. That gives me a chance for 1 point.
Okay. Famous tech journalist.
You know, I know
Don't give them
German
one.
housewares company sounds like, but I promise you are all aware of this company.
Yeah.
And you said they make clocks and razors.
They've made everything under the sun. They've been around for 60, 70 years now. Yeah. However, nowadays they are most known for clocks and razors. They might only make razors now, actually.
Clocks, and that's such a random. I can't think of a single company that makes clocks and razors.
We'll figure it
That's
out
tough. That's
once
tough
I
for
answer
me.
the question for you guys. Then you'll know.
All right.
You don't know who made Razor scooters?
I will let you
Motorola.
ask the rabbit if you are willing to just put down
What?
I'm gonna try
whatever it says.
This is my one opportunity.
I might try it. All right. Well, we'll be right back. Support for Waveform comes from Coda. So it can be tough to stay organized when your team is spread across time zones. With Coda, you can help keep your whole team on the same page with an all-in-one collaborative workspace that brings together the best of documents, spreadsheets, and apps into one platform. That means less time ping-ponging between different tabs and tools and more time on your projects. So with Coda's extensive planning capabilities, you can stay aligned when managing planning cycles and while measuring objectives and key results. Plus, you can access hundreds of templates and get inspired by others in Coda's gallery. So over 50,000 teams across the world collaborate with Coda, from the New York Times to Square, from Toast to TED and Uber. So if you want a platform that enables and empowers your team to collaborate effectively and focus on shared goals, you can get started with Coda today for free. You can head over to coda.io/wave. So that's Coda, CODA.io/wave to get started for free. Coda.io/wave.
All right, welcome back. We got to talk about emulators on the iPhone, not Dolphin emulators, as I have previously talked about.
Fair.
Which are very good emulators. But emulators are officially on the iPhone now.
Which is new. From what I heard, this was the thing that you had to get an Android phone to do.
Yes.
But now the Apple policies are allowing emulators, which is exciting.
Yeah.
I think.
If you're like an OG old person like us back in the day.
Whoa. Speak for yourself. I do not consider myself old yet.
You know, we're both 30. David's not. So
That's
we
true.
are on the older side of this
The
podcast.
cutoff for old will always be right above me.
Fair. I think that's totally fair.
Thank you.
Moving goalposts.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyway, if you're an old person like us, you might remember this thing called Cydia, which was a way to jailbreak your iPhone way back in the good old days.
Damn, I am old. Wow.
Exactly.
I don't know what that is. Am I the young one now?
You remember jailbreaking the iPhone?
You remember jailbreaking the iPhone?
I never had an iPhone.
Do you ever jailbreak an iPod Touch?
I never had an iPod.
That was what I used Cydia for.
Anyway, back in the day, if you wanted to play emulators on an Apple device, portable Apple device, you had to use this thing called Cydia, which would basically jailbreak it, and then you could install emulators on your iPod Touch or your iPhone, that kind of stuff. Apple has traditionally not allowed emulators for a very similar reason to the reasons they haven't allowed like games inside of super apps, because they can't control all of the micro software that's in the macro software, and they're control freaks. But now that the Digital Markets Act in the European Union got passed, and in the EU, Apple has to allow third-party app stores, Apple realized, well, if we have to allow third-party app stores, and probably one of the main reasons that people download those third-party app stores is to do the thing that they can't do on the regular app store, which is emulator being a big part of it, they just realized, like, if we don't want people to go to the third-party app stores, we should just allow emulators on our app store.
Fair.
So that's what they did. They finally decided to allow emulators on the App Store. So now there are a couple up there. The biggest one is called Delta, which is a Nintendo emulator that can do anything from the NES through the N64 for the home consoles and the Game Boy through the Nintendo DS for the portable consoles. It's not a new emulator. It's something that's been in development for like 10 years because they were basically just sort of like waiting for the day when they could like push this out. And it's always been in test flight, so you could like get it via test flight. Yeah. So it was always unofficial, not on the App Store. And then as soon as Apple relaxed these policies, they just hit publish, and all of a sudden they have this very full-featured, very built-out emulator.
Didn't it shoot up to like number one on the
Number one on the App Store for like a week.
Yeah.
You can easily AirPlay games to your TV. You can use it with Bluetooth controllers. So it's like a pretty serious app. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So it's quite cool. I think that there's a lot of weird gray zones around emulators in general, because technically there is precedent for the ability to run an emulator of something to understand how it works. But then obviously distributing game files is illegal.
All the games you're playing, you're not paying for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when you distribute an emulator, you just say like, we're just giving you the platform. It's not up to us how you get the thing that you do. Because theoretically, you could do a ROM dump, which is called it's read-only memory, but you can basically dump the game from your physical cartridge if you wanted to, and then play that, and that is technically legal. That's like the way that people get around this, is that if you bought the copy of the game, you should be able to play the read-only memory version of the game on a different device. So that's how people get around this. Anyway, it's kind of cool because there've been all these reasons why you would buy an Android phone specifically, because you could do things on it that you couldn't do on an iPhone.
Right.
And now this is just another
Took one off
thing
the
you
list.
can do on the iPhone as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is old game consoles the only thing that people want to emulate? Seems like that's the only thing people talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or-
Pretty much.
Right.
Is there an Android one that you would suggest? Is this also? I'm assuming this isn't also on Android.
I don't think Delta's on Android, but there was one called something for GBA
Charlie,
that I used to use.
what was it? Oh,
I can't remember what it was called. I don't actually play that many games. So, yeah.
yeah. I'm asking it like I would want to do something, but I probably wouldn't too much. Maybe on like a plane ride. It would
I mean,
be
yeah,
fun.
it
I'm
could
just
be
seeing
like
GoldenEye on an iPhone, and I'm like, oh, that sounds so sick.
Yeah.
That's true.
There's one device that I can say for certain is commonly emulated in the United States without needing to play any games. And that is the OG Palm Pilot OS. And that is because the first digital movie projectors, all the timing calculations was done on a Palm Pilot. And when it became impossible to get Palm Pilots, it was easier to just emulate.
They did it on a PDA?
Oppenheimer, the 70mm IMAX, because all the IMAX software still only runs on Palm OS. So if you go into an IMAX 70mm projection room, you will see a computer running a Palm Pilot emulation.
What?
That is calibrated.
Why did they do that via a PDA?
Because I think it was really simple software, and it was a cheap thing you could just mount on the wall and teach people how to use.
And I thought they'd be around forever.
That's crazy. That's the most film industry thing to do ever.
Ain't it?
Like make everything $1 billion and then use like a Palm Pilot to like figure out when to swap the reels.
And then be like, we can't remove this step in the chain. Like,
It's stuck.
Yeah.
We'll be doing that in 100 years, and they'll be like, yeah, it was only available on the Rabbit R1. And now we have to emulate it on a computer.
Yeah. Which is funny because the Rabbit is actually emulating things. It's a virtual machine.
It's
so
very meta.
It's just rabbits all the way down.
I'm sure this image will show up in B-roll when I give it to Adam, but I just sent you guys a picture of a 70mm film reel next to the Palm Pilot emulator, and it is just awesome.
That's so amazing.
On an iPad.
Yeah, they're emulating the Palm Pilot on an old iPad on the wall. Wow.
That's just a very poorly cut out Palm Pilot.
It's so funny.
That's amazing.
We love to see it.
Also, shout out to IMAX because they are finally making a new IMAX camera for the first time since like the 1970s. Yeah.
Because they've been licensing the IMAX sensors and stuff to RE and folks. There's even I think we don't have the IMAX cert, but you can get an IMAX cert V-Raptor.
Yeah. I believe there are only 9 IMAX film cameras, and they were all made in the 1970s.
Yeah.
And they're now finally making a brand new one that is like completely made of like carbon fiber composite, and it's got a bunch of like touchscreen stuff on it, even though it shoots film, to like show you what you're shooting digitally, but it is like putting it on film. It's epic.
Closed ecosystems, are a mixed bag and can really result in some funky bad times, but I love IMAX. I love the IMAX speakers are like the coolest looking speakers anyone has ever made.
Right.
I think the IMAX like seat height specs are like perfect for watching movies.
Yeah. Sorry, we're a little bit down the rabbit hole and not that rabbit hole. So
Speaking of
well, we already did that part.
Speaking of videos, new development as of this week, TikTok banned. Not
yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the headline is
Straight to jail.
the headline is that the bill was signed for ByteDance to have to divest and not own all of TikTok, and so I guess that means it's going to be up for sale as of January 2025. We don't really know all the details yet, but it seems like something we should keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of it
Basically.
so far.
Yeah, they have a year to like sell the US wing to another US company. Otherwise, they are banned.
Yeah.
And it went through Congress, the House, and Biden. So
Got signed.
yeah, got signed. So we'll see what happens, I guess. Now we got to wait a year.
I have one last headline I want to go through with you guys.
Okay.
This is fascinating to me.
I just want you to know, in the document, it says electric G-Wagoo.
That's what I wrote.
Okay.
Did I stutter? The new G-Wagoo, the electric G-Wagon was announced, and it goes on sale late 2024.
Goes on stale.
And I just want you guys to listen to the specs, because you know what a G-Wagon is, right? You've seen the square Mercedes Jeep. It's iconic. Yeah. It's a bit of a fashion icon. It's a status symbol.
Yeah.
They're making an electric one finally. And I've been on my high horse about vehicles that should go electric. This is the spec sheet of the electric G-Wagon. It will start at $180,000. It has quad motors and a 116 kilowatt hour battery. It will do 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. It will have a max range of 250 miles, EPA rated, and it only charges at 200 kilowatts. I read that spec sheet and I immediately thought, I think this might be the most inefficient EV I've ever seen on paper. Only short of the Hummer EV. The Hummer EV is just, we put 220 kilowatt hours of battery in there, so it should be fine. And it eventually pans out and goes like almost 300 miles, whatever. But it also does 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds flat because it's like a ridiculous amount of power.
Yeah.
It's like 1,000 horsepower. They managed to do quad motors in this thing, but only 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. That seems
really slow.
It's not slow, but it's quad motors.
Are they?
That's comparatively.
We regularly see dual motor vehicles doing 2.9s and 3.5s, and I don't know. I saw quad motors. It does off-roading.
Is it? Are they less powerful motors, but with better individual control to each wheel for stuff like that? Or?
So yeah, they're definitely less powerful motors.
Okay.
They will definitely also have individual control of each wheel, like every other quad motor vehicle, but not any better or worse. Like the quad motor R1T, Rivian's R1T.
Yeah.
Quad motor for all the same reasons. Individual control of each wheel, better off-roading capabilities, individualized traction control, torque vectoring, all that stuff is still true. It's just these are just super inefficient,
They're just
weak
worse
motors
ones, yeah.
for some reason. And also only 250 miles of range. So it's not like these are super powerful but don't go very far. They're both not powerful and not efficient.
But it has the thing that everyone buying a G-Wagon wants,
Shiny logo.
is that it's a G-Wagon.
It's a
and It just
G-Wagon.
looks like a G-Wagon.
It makes noises that sound kind of like a gas G-Wagon.
I have a question. Why is there a humane AI pin on the back of it?
A giant AI pin? That's kind of funny.
The tire cover just looks like a blue AI pin would look pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's a nice color.
There's storage in there.
It is a nice.
Is that
blue.
storage or the tire?
It's
The spare
storage.
tire.
Yeah.
It's not even as.
No, it's
Oh.
electronic. Go to 2 minutes 45 seconds. It's your charger.
Also, 8-minute Twitter video, huge L.
It says delivery later this year.
Yeah,
That's kind of crazy.
yeah. You too could have a $180,000, 250-mile range EV if you really wanted to.
Do you know how many rabbits I could buy with that?
So many rabbits.
I could ask the rabbit.
There are some genuinely interesting, like really good off-roading features, which is hilarious because nobody who buys a G-Wagon actually off-roads it. But hey, it's electric, so it has that capability now. Cool. But hey, there you go. It's 180 grand for this.
Nice.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Where's my $100 refundable
Deposit.
reservation?
I bet you can. I bet that's a thing. Anyway, I think that's about it for this week. We talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about the rabbit. We have a bunch more to talk about with this. And, of course, recalls, iPads, and software updates. But we have one more thing to talk about. Trivia.
No, your app didn't pause unless you have the skip silence thing.
Somebody definitely has the skip silence
feel
thing
like-
and has
yeah.
no idea what's going on.
yeah.
No
I was
clue.
going to say, you just said it like the humane and rabbit say things
Exactly.
out loud.
Firing up the rabbit.
All right.
I'm at half battery, by the way.
Half.
I'm
at.
I think the
26.
rabbit has to hear Ellis, though, if you want to use it.
I think
And
I'm
has
going
to-
to treat it like my personal assistant. I'm going to rephrase the question.
But what if I want to get the answer right?
You have to write down the entire question, the entire answer, it says.
I can't. There's no way I can do that. It's going to give me a long answer. I know it.
The more we've been using it, I kind of think it's semi-repeating the question to give itself more time.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ellis.
I know it has Perplexity AI access, but I don't know. It's like ChatGPT or OpenAI.
okay.
It's like a more information. It's more accuracy focused than like OpenAI is.
My laptop is on its dying breath of battery.
All right.
Okay.
We get the hint.
You don't need your laptop for trivia.
I just want to say, the dictionary definition of perplexity is one's inability to understand complicated ideas.
Sounds like
So
Why would they name it that then?
I don't really understand, unless maybe I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure if you look in the dictionary for perplexity, it is the
actually.
the quality of being perplexed.
Inability to deal with or understand something complicated. Oof.
kind of sounds like a lot of large language
Weird
models.
choice. But question number 1.
Yeah.
Calculator for the iPad. It's coming, supposedly. Another app that we had to wait forever for on the iPad was the weather app. So I want you to tell me how late in the iPad's lifespan in years did the weather app come out?
When did the first iPad come out, and when did the weather app for iPad come out?
This feels a little bit like
Searching
cheating.
now.
Well, it's going to be in the mic.
Yeah, I feel like
The first iPad was released in 2010.
Wait.
But it did not have an official weather app from Apple
Wait, that
until
was
the
my
release of iPadOS 16 on October 24th, 2022.
That was
The weather app was made available on more devices across the Apple ecosystem
I feel like
of
this cheat.
iPadOS 16
Well, it's
and macOS Ventura. Before the release of iPadOS
it's cut off too late. Well, now I definitely got it wrong.
Okay. Yeah, I said 11
I said 10.
because I thought it was 2021 that it came out.
Also realizing
I
that
knew it was 2010.
did the math completely wrong.
I did 12.
Yeah, well,
Oh, that was wrong also?
No, 12 is correct.
Oh.
Sorry, I got a little trigger happy with the wrong button. there.
okay, I knew it came out in 2010, but I thought that the weather app came out in 2021, but I guess it was 2022.
I thought it came out in 2023 and I just did my math completely wrong.
Oh, actually?
I was right on the 2010 and then I was just like, oh, it probably came out last year because we
Actu-
said it was recent and I just mathed wrong.
I mathed wrong too because I was like, oh, that came out 2 years ago, and I thought it was 2023 this year. So I thought it was 2021 that it came out.
Oh, wow.
So I got
There's
it
just a
right,
lot of-
but I got it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. How do we feel?
I feel like the rabbit thing didn't. You just asked it the questions. You didn't.
Yeah, I
it
think-
didn't. Yeah, I don't know about a point
I'm
on that one.
gonna give you the point, Marquez. But in the future, if we're consulting AI assistant,
I think you have to
preferred that
ask
I
it the
asked
hard
it.
question.
yeah, asked it what I asked you.
And it needs to answer what you put down on the thing, not the here's two answers that you get to do the.
So you prefer if I don't have to do any deduction. You want me to get only the answer to the trivia
I
question.
think Rabbit would prefer that.
Let me just try that.
Rabbit
Let's
would
just try
claim
it.
that
Let's
it
just
would
try
get
it.
that
Let me
right.
just try that real quick. How many years was it between the release of the original iPad and the iPad's first weather app?
I think even that is an easier version of that, but
no, but that's what Alice asked.
yeah, it was a longer.
It's the gist.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
the
just
gist.
saying.
It should tell me a number in years.
Yeah.
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 Unless it just
It
doesn't
doesn't
answer.
For some reason, once in a while, it just doesn't
Yeah.
even look to try. I'm going to try again. How many years was it between the release of the first iPad and the iPad's first weather app?
Looking it up now.
There you go.
The first iPad was released on April 3rd, 2010. The first version of iPadOS, iPadOS 13, was released on September 24th, 2019. Therefore, it was approximately 9 years and 5 months between the release of the first iPad and the release of iPadOS 13. The question asks about the release of iPadOS 16, but the search results do not provide enough information to determine how many years it has been since the release of the first iPad. However, we can determine that it has been more than 9 years and 5 months since the release of the first iPad.
That's true.
Therefore, the answer to the question is, it has been more than 9 years and 5 months since the release of the first iPad.
Do I take your point away?
I
think you should take
know.
spin
I think you should
more
take
than
2
9
points.
years.
away.
You should take a point away.
Well, okay,
It
my
used
prompt
deductive
engineering was
reasoning.
pretty good.
Deductive reasoning.
The problem is that when you asked it the 2 questions, it knew exactly what they were,
It
so
got
it
it right.
can figure it out.
I
It just did not figure it out through the.
yeah.
Yeah.
You should take his point away. And I should get the
I think
because I said
look, I did set the
11
rule.
points. Delta.
It's whatever the pin says, not what you.
Did
say,
you know
Mark.
the answer to that question, anyways?
What were
I
you
think
going
I was
to
going to say it came out in 2023. So, but I also thought 2011 for the iPad. So I would have said 12 anyway, but with the wrong reasoning. We all
That's
have the
really
wrong.
funny.
Yeah, we all have the wrong.
No, I was just wrong. I was
Well,
wrong, and
I got it right. I just thought it was 2023 right now. That was my problem.
A lot of
Yeah.
cope coming from the.
Oh, I
host
just got it
table
wrong.
today.
Embarrassing.
But something you will also have to cope for is another question about calculators. Specifically, the original iOS calculator from iPhone 1 was based on a classic calculator from 1977. I'm looking for 2 pieces of information here. 1, the name of the legendary German housewares company that made this calculator, and 2, the name of the designer of this calculator who shares a name with a famous tech journalist.
I really hope the name's just like David.
It's Marques.
John.
I do want to try asking the rabbit this question after this.
All right, let's turn them around.
Oh wow.
Marques, why don't you go first?
I thought that it was Texas Instruments, which is definitely not. What country did you say?
German.
German. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I was just about to say Marques are from Texas. No, Texas.
And then I said Walt, because I don't
Alas.
think there's that many famous tech journalists. So I thought you were talking about.
I'm
Walt.
assuming David got it right, so I'll go next. I
think
said
so.
Schick and Walt.
Alas, David.
I said Braun
Braun is the company.
because they make very cool clocks, by the way, and calculators.
I did not know that. Mm-hmm. Clocks.
And Dieter Rams.
Dieter Rams is the designer.
Yeah,
I have a
the
bone to pick
journalist
with this
is
question.
Dieter Mossberg is the journalist.
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
Dieter is not a tech journalist. Is
Dieter
my bone
Bone.
to pick. He is
He
not.
Oh, not anymore.
was.
He is not a tech
oh,
journalist.
give me a break.
I
Give
thought
me
about
a
that.
break.
Hold
Give
on.
me a
I
break.
Let's
thought
ask
about that.
Rabbit. Ask Rabbit. Is Dieter... Sorry, I just...
No,
dropped
come
it.
on.
Is the issue because he used to be a tech
He
journalist?
was, but when you said famous tech journalist, I was like, wow, that really narrows it down because there's
Yeah,
not
but if
many
you're a
of those.
basketball
No,
player and
no,
you're
no, no,
retired,
no.
you're still
Yeah.
a famous basketball
Yeah, it's not
player.
like you can't say Shaq isn't a famous
But you don't
basketball player.
move
Yeah.
to a different job after.
Shaq is a broadcaster.
Yeah, but he's not a famous Google employee now.
So, okay. All right. Well, okay, so how do I phrase this question? The first one is who designed the first iPad calculator?
I would have just said who designed the calculator that the iPhone calculator was based on.
Got it. Wake it up. Who designed the calculator that the first iPhone's calculator app was based on? The screen blacked out and it said initialize. And it
It has to be connected to the Wi-Fi, which it only reconnects when you turn the screen back on.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Who designed the calculator that the original iPad's Who designed the calculator that the original iPhone's calculator app was based on?
Searching now.
Uh?
The original iPhone's calculator app was based on the design of the 1977 Braun ET44 and ET66 calculators.
Nice.
These
That's
calculators
pretty
were known for their sleek and minimalist design, which influenced the look and feel of the iPhone's calculator app. The design of the Braun calculators was a tribute to Dieter Rams, a renowned industrial designer who worked for Braun.
Killer.
I didn't even
iPhone's
ask it
calculator
that.
app was designed to be a visual and functional homage to these iconic calculators.
You said who designed it.
I said who designed. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you,
So
That's-
named the calculators and the designer.
That's like
I
a
didn't even ask
pretty good answer to a pretty complex question.
Yeah. No, I was impressed. Perplexity. But this is not the end of trivia today, guys, because YouTube commenters have been relentlessly asking for us to do this. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome a very special trivia guest. Her name is
Maria.
and she just walked away.
Nice. I'm back. Okay. So today I don't have a crawfish question for you, but since you were already talking about the new YouTube layout, we do have a YouTube question for you, if you're prepared. So,
I like these.
YouTube's original 2005 video player page had 4 tabs at the top of the screen. Home, watch videos, upload videos, and what? It's concerning me that no one's writing.
Marques wrote it down.
Sorry, I forgot we had to do that.
I wasn't alive.
We should ask the rabbit
Wait, it was what?
afterwards. as
Watch
well.
videos.
It was home, watch videos, upload videos, and what?
I feel like I'm kind of being a smartass in this one, but I'm definitely wrong.
I'm leaving it.
All right, what do y'all say? All right, David said account. Andrew
said
said
sign out.
Sign out? Why would they want you to
It's
leave?
like the log. I don't know.
Don't allow them to leave.
Lock them in.
Once you're signed in, you
and
can't
then what did
sign
Marques
out.
say? I can't see.
Favorites.
Favorites?
Yeah.
And you're all wrong.
Is it community? Or
They
something?
wanted you.
Wait. Can we ask the rabbit pig?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
gotta,
yeah,
I
go
gotta
for
try
it,
that.
go for it.
Okay. There were 4 tabs.
Remember how last week I was like, I don't do trick questions. I keep it straight. This was a little bit of a trick question.
Didn't you do a trick question last week?
No.
I need everyone to be quiet so I can talk to my assistant.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Sorry.
What were the 4 original tabs across the top of YouTube.com in 2005?
Searching now. The original tabs across the top of YouTube.com in 2005 were 1. Home. 2. Browse. 3. Videos. 4. Account.
I like how we were all...
These tabs provided users with easy access to their homepage,
I just want
video browsing options, video library, and account management settings.
Account.
So, Rabbit was wrong, but it was sort of like 25% wrong. The trick of this year question was the keyword being original. YouTube launched in February of 2005 with those 4 tabs. In fall of 2005, towards the end of the year, they changed the update to something much closer resembling what Marques described. This is also when they changed the slogan from upload, tag, and share your videos worldwide to broadcast yourself.
Wasn't YouTube also originally a dating service?
Yes. That's why it launched on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, because you're supposed to upload videos about why you should date me.
Video profile.
Wait, so what's the tab?
I was reading a lot about early YouTube, and I did not find a single source. And I also have first month screenshots of YouTube that don't say that anywhere. So that might be a little bit of an urban legendy type beat.
What was the tab?
I've heard that many times from Googlers.
Yeah,
Yeah, right, totally.
Yeah, was it?
what's the answer?
I don't know. No, it's invite friends.
How's that a trick question?
Because when you look at a lot of original YouTube stuff, a lot of people refer to the fall 2005 redesign as the original player because it stuck well in 2006. But I wanted the original 2005.
Fake fans.
Yeah.
I'm asking Gemini.
If YouTube was a dating site. If it was a dating site, please let me know.
I will ask.
YouTube was launched on Valentine's Day, 2005. The website was originally intended to be an online dating site with users uploading videos about themselves and what they were looking for in a partner. The slogan was Tune In, Hook Up. On April 23rd, 2005, the first video was a clip of him. So that means there were no uploads between February and April.
I thought the first upload was me at the zoo.
It was in April.
Oh.
4 months after the site came out.
I would definitely
So
want to date
nobody uploaded any dating videos for 4 months and then they pivoted. That was loud.
I don't think you could hear that.
Wait, so was me at the zoo supposed to be like, check out how hot I am at the zoo?
I think that was supposed to be an
Look
example.
how adventurous I
because
am.
that was by one of the founders.
Right.
But that was supposed to be an example of here is like a video of yourself. Like on Tinder, you can have like pictures of yourself. I think this is supposed to be like, hi, my name is, and here I am doing something interesting.
That's exactly what I was saying.
So I just want to say that Gemini also got it wrong, but in a different way. It says videos, channels, subscriptions, community.
It does say what tabs likely were.
Oh, likely.
That's exactly what I asked Gemini. I asked you for an answer, and I wanted you to tell me what it might be.
Probably.
Yeah.
How old am I? You're probably around, I don't know, 27, 29.
Anywhere from 15 to 64.
Well, these are pretty tough questions, but we did our best, and I think some points were awarded. There's some scoreboard somewhere, and the points are
We'll let Adam be the final decision on if he actually gives you that point.
exactly. Adam, should I get the point that I answered correctly or not?
Yeah,
hey, Adam, should I get the non-point of not answering Dieter because he's not a tech journalist? Up to you. Maybe the last
That is
question.
ridiculous.
Is
We'll
Shaq
figure it
not a
out.
basketball player?
We'll see. Nevertheless.
But before you sign out, I should read the score because Adam always does do that, and I forgot. So, Marques, you are right in the middle of the pack
in the mix.
with 6. David, you are also right in the middle of the pack with 6. Andrew, screaming ahead of the competition, lights ablaze, 7 points.
Wait,
It's like
really?
staring into the eclipse.
I thought I was 2 behind Andrew and he didn't get any points this time.
And
Yeah,
you
you
got
got
1 point.
No, I
this
got 2.
time.
I got Dieter, Rams, and
Oh,
Braun.
you did get 2. Thank you, David. I
Oh.
forgot you got both those questions, meaning No, wait,
Oh, wrong one. Sorry.
yeah, you almost had 8 points.
That was assuming
there.
Marques didn't get the points, or else we would all be
Is
tied.
that assuming he did or didn't get the point?
As of right now, I have Marques not getting the point with 6. However, we're sending the review to New York to make the final.
Since Adam is in Brooklyn right now.
If you are still watching this episode, thank you, because you should have
Yeah.
clicked out of this
Comment
25
below
minutes ago.
if you prefer rotisserie chickens in a bag or plastic container.
Great idea.
But
How about the container?
in the meantime, Andrew,
Waveform is produced by Adam Molina and Ellis Rovin and Mariah Zeng today, and we are partnered with the Vox Media Podcast Network, and our outro music was created by Vane Sill.
yeah, I'm going to talk about content-aware compression schemes for cloud gaming.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you stole my idea, but